The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Napick. Thank you for joining us once again on a radio adventure, and the market is really good. That's right. It continues, especially the residential real estate market continues to astound us in so many ways. It has been good for the last couple years. Last year, mid-year, let's say, it got hyper to where it's just phenomenal. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. In fact, just last night I had a friend call me. She put her home on the market, got 4 offers. It didn't even have the pictures yet for $950,000. By the time the dust settles, she'll probably get over $1 million on this home. And again, she was getting ready to have it staged, have the pictures, and just like that, 4 offers on the house. 2 weeks ago, remember, on the show, we heard about a home in Austin for $500,000 that got 90 offers. So I'm going to ask the question today to our guests and even to you, the listening audience, where do we go from here? It is phenomenal, and it is still a brand new year. So welcome to Real Estate Matters. I'm your host, Bill Napick. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. And if you're a longtime listener, thank you so much. We're going to start with a realtor from the Woodlands. His name is J. Mac Sanders. J. Mac, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Bill? Thanks for having me.
Super awesome to have you. First of all, let's tell people your company is called Mustard Seed Realtors. Let's tell people about your company.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, we're a boutique brokerage up in the Woodlands, South Montgomery County. We service Montgomery County and North Harris County. We like to provide exceptional service to our clients and let them know that they do matter. They are family, and that you have to have a little faith sometimes. As
the mustard seed, right?
Faith like a mustard seed, absolutely.
In fact, the Woodlands area, we hear about, people all around the United States hear about the Woodlands. It is renowned. People love the Woodlands. Let's tell people, as a real estate broker there, as far as the market activity, and also, what do you like about the Woodlands? You live there.
I do live there. I've lived there for close to 15 years. The Woodlands is a unique master plan community nestled in South Montgomery County that provides a lot of amenities that many places don't have. It's got a low tax rate. There's 110 parks and miles of walking paths throughout the Woodlands. It's a wonderful place to live, raise your family, grow a business, start a business, play and pray.
And as far as the people that are moving into the Woodlands right now, I would assume there's some that are in Houston and they want to go to the Woodlands, but where else are you seeing people move in to the Woodlands?
We have a lot of people relocating from Colorado, Oklahoma, California. That's a big chunk of people moving from out of state for sure. Some of them are relocations for business. Some of them are people deciding to relocate their businesses and bring some of their employees with them.
What about people retiring? You seeing any of that?
They do retire in the Woodlands. It's a good, safe investment. It's a community that once they tour it, they appreciate the aesthetics of it. They appreciate the master plan nature of it. So yes.
As far as the niche that your company, Mustard Seed Realty, has, if you were to describe it, what's your niche in the marketplace?
Our niche is going to be providing. I'm a full-time real estate broker. I like to say that I go bacon hunting. I bring home the bacon and I go looking for it every day.
Making me hungry, J-Mac. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, our niche is going to be somebody that knows the market inside out, somebody that is a professional that does this full-time, that takes education courses, not because the state of Texas says I have to, but because it's the right thing to expand my knowledge base and be a true professional practitioner.
As far as buying homes right now, we're talking about the market being in a, perhaps it's the right word, maybe not, but in a hyper sort of state. So, of course, using a real estate professional is even more important, I would say. But Absolutely. As far as buyers, if you're a buyer right now and you want to make sure you get the right home, We're going to use your services, J-Mac Sanders, no doubt about that. But how do we ensure that we get the right home? How do you coach that buyer right now, J-Mac?
It's about setting expectations. You make sure that they are pre-qualified and pre-approved with a mortgage provider, that they know what to expect in a very aggressive market that we have right now, very much a seller's market. For houses that are under $750,000 in South Montgomery County, you've got less than 3 months of inventory. And if it's under $550,000, it's under 2 months of inventory. So there's a lot of people that want to buy the house, and you have to prepare them to be aggressive, know what they want, and be prepared to possibly fail once or twice learning that process.
And when you say fail, that means they're not going to get that house.
Correct.
So that makes it challenging, I would think, because I was looking not just in the Houston area, but every once in a while I go outside of the Houston area just for fun, pick cities, big cities, little cities, and just type in the city, real estate, and I look around and I see, not just here, I see pending, contingent, and it's amazing. It seems like so many markets in the United States are so busy. So how does that buyer, I mean, there's not much time to decide, I'm guessing, right? You got to jump on it if you see what you like.
That's correct. Perfect example. I sent a buyer. We started looking at properties last Thursday. I sent them 12 properties last Wednesday when we connected and started. 6 of them are already under contract, so there's 6 left. And I'm explaining them through this process that this may not be like the last time they purchased a home, and that while we are going after it with financing, if somebody's coming in with cash, they may be willing to pay more for the property from a value perspective than we are. And so we're competing against different factors.
As far as the seller, now let's change hats. We put the seller hat on. If I'm a seller, how are you coaching that? And I want you to do the listing for me, and I'm in the Woodlands area. How are you coaching me as the seller now?
Absolutely. I met with some people late last week also to talk about selling their house. We're going to be putting it on the market in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're talking about staging. We're talking about lighting. We're talking about right price points, what to expect from buyers. You know, getting the best value, the best price for your property with the least amount that you have to put cash-wise into it, depending on where you are and what stage. And these people are relocating for work. So they've got a busy life, they've got a family, and they don't always have time to make sure that it's just the perfect house. So it's being able to have somebody that's going to guide you through that process and understand that there's dynamics from both sides. There is a happy medium and a balance in the middle. And to know that being able to have their house staged right, photographed right, and navigate offers when they come in. And it's not always the price, it's the best offer. Let them know that is a very important part.
I would think, and this has been, as I started out the show, this has been a year where we're hearing about the phrases multiple offers above the list price, buying it without seeing it. Those things we're hearing about more than ever. So one of the things, if I'm the seller, I think paramount, I better know where I'm going because it might sell real quick.
Absolutely. I had a property on the market about 6 months ago, put it on our Friday afternoon. We had 4 offers by Sunday, and 3 of them were over list price. And we had to navigate that, and it wasn't necessarily the highest price house that was the best offer. It was taking in the terms and the totality of the terms inside of the contract to be able to get it to close, because at the end of the day, the seller wants the property to close and get the money in their pocket and not just keep it on the market.
The market in Houston, perhaps other areas, I don't know, different configurations of cities, but our city is already designed to where it can go in every direction. And if we go north, we're in the Woodlands. We are expanding in every direction in a rapid sort of way. Once towns that seemed far away, I don't know, Waller, Willis, they're now experiencing crazy growth. So if someone's listening to the show, and we have a lot of people that listen on the internet that are outside of Houston, J-Mac, what would you tell people as far as describing, maybe painting a picture of the Woodlands? Because people really like it, but there are people that still don't know about it. Paint the picture for us. If someone's saying, I don't know, Pennsylvania, and they want to know about the Woodlands, what would you tell them it's like?
Absolutely. The Woodlands is in Montgomery County, Texas. There's approximately 500,000 people. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the United States. There's a lot of people that want to move there because it still has a little bit of a small town feel, but you have the benefits of the urban center not too far away. We're about 35 miles north of downtown Houston. Other collateral areas that are close by are Conroe and Willis and Montgomery and Magnolia. Those are growing areas like crazy. And there's a lot of new properties that are coming on the market. And we're trying to make sure that we provide being able to navigate. It may not be the Woodlands you want to live in. It's exploring different properties and different locations and finding out where you want to be, and maybe leasing for a year to get your bearings may be a good idea also if you're relocating.
If someone were to say, what's the difference between the Woodlands and Spring, Texas? Are they similar?
No, sir. They can be very similar based on postal codes, because the Woodlands used to be in the Spring postal code, so oftentimes it gets lumped into Spring. Spring is in North Harris County, and the Woodlands is predominantly in South Montgomery County. The Woodlands is a master plan community, and Spring is not a master plan community, so they're pretty different locations tremendously.
And as I started with that question, where do we go from here? Here we are, still at the beginning of the year. It's astounding what's happening. Based on your knowledge, feel, guesswork, where do you think we go from here, Jay?
Absolutely.
Real estate-wise.
For sure. From a real estate perspective, it's going to maintain, we're going to continue to have a seller's market for quite a while until production from new construction and home builders increases. We're going to have a seller's market for quite a while, at least in the area that is predominantly where I work, and including the Houston MSA. There was a forecast report that I went and attended with Ted Jones with Stewart Title here recently, and absolutely he had spoken about the fact that the Houston MSA is going to be going crazy over the next 1 to 2 years, and there could be anywhere from 4% growth in appreciation of properties up to 8%, depending on where you are. So things are going to change. That's not always going to be the case, but based on what we're seeing right now, it's not surprising because I've seen that in some micro markets where I am.
And before we close the segment, Jay, what else would you like people to know?
At the end of the day, I love what I do. I enjoy helping clients. I enjoy answering questions. I don't mind answering any question. There's no stupid questions. You may think that it's an odd question, an awkward question, but at the end of the day, this is where you're putting a big chunk of your money and a lot of faith in me, and I appreciate that. And
Jay, if someone wants to reach out to you, what should they do?
Shoot me a text, 832-797-9229. You can call that same number, obviously, or you can email me at jmac@mustardseedrealtors.com. 832-797-9229. J. Mac Sanders. J. Mac, thanks for being on the show. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it, man.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's welcome our next guest. She is Elizabeth Rankin Rice with First United Mortgage Group. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. How are you?
Doing great. And here we are again. It's been years since you've been on the show.
Yes.
Welcome back to our new station.
Thank you.
Let's tell people, First United Mortgage Group, we always love to talk about money. Money makes the world go round.
It does.
It's the lifeblood of so many things. Let's tell people about your company.
My company is based out of Durant, Oklahoma. Privately held bank, very liquid. I've been with the company a little over 3 years. I'm in my 25th year of mortgage lending. And I joined primarily for certain products, builder, construction, all kinds, but we have every program, and I'm very, very happy here.
In fact, I think that's one of the things, as I've talked to other mortgage loan officers, it seems like there's so many different, I didn't realize all the different kinds of loans you can get. In my life, I think I've only gotten the conventional loan where it was a fixed interest rate, and that was it.
Right.
But give us just an idea of some of the different ones that are out there. I mean, for veterans and all.
One of the most unique things that happened to me in 2020 or in the industry was there was a lot of pullback on jumbo lending and other financing lending due to the pandemic. Our company did not change anything during the pandemic, which was really, we kept waiting for that gamut to fall and go, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. We continued to do all the financing we offered. For instance, we'll do 10% down on a jumbo loan. Most people won't on a standard, not a doctor. I mean, a doctor, we have other programs as well.
Let's define a jumbo loan, though, real quick.
Anything over 548, is it 550? 548, 250. It's changed January 1st. Anyway, so anything over the jumbo sector, we can do anywhere from 5 to 10% down, which a lot of lenders did not allow during pandemic or continue to do so. One of the things I enjoy a lot about my company that I've seen is used to be my arch enemy is my underwriting. My underwriting group is amazing. And because I grade my company, you know, as I go through my process, and underwriting is like my favorite part of my company right now.
So in a way, that's almost like an insurance term. So for those that don't know, you're a loan officer. How important, what is the underwriting? Is that where you get the money, or what?
No, the underwriter
underwriting?
is the person that looks at your application and looks against the guidelines and decides, do these match the guidelines based on what you've provided us? And our company, which I really enjoy as well, is we are very black and white. We go on the guidelines and we work with guidelines. And the underwriter, if it doesn't make sense, we'll call and say, I'm not really clear on this. What were you trying to do? Which I love. Love, love, love. I love my underwriters.
I love that explanation. So that means that if I talk with you and I say, look, I need a loan. You say, here's the rate. I give you the information. You take that information and match it up. Your underwriters do. And then we get things aligned so we know what's going to happen.
Right. I have an amazing team that works with me. We scrub our files. I will not bring a loan in if I don't think I can close the loan. Why would I waste anybody's time, including my own? But I look at the guidelines and I know pretty much, because I've been doing it a long time, if I think I can do the loan. And when I do have a problem loan, and it does happen, I like diving in those and fixing those as well. And my mom made this comment because she was my assistant during the pandemic to a degree.
Is she listening to the show right now?
She could be. She will be, yes. She said to me, she goes, you're a problem solver. And I go, oh, I like that. She goes, you're a loan officer, but you're a problem solver. And I was like, that's a good word. I like that word, Mom.
That's right. I mean, there are challenges that
Sometimes,
come up, and just the basic navigation of a real estate transaction alone, you have to solve issues and address things along the way. No doubt about it. What is it that you love so much about this? Because I know you for, I believe, decades. I don't know how many, but you've been doing this a long time.
I have been doing it a long time. I love my job. I love seeing, and somebody posted on Facebook not long ago that they don't like when the transaction ends because it feels like, but my relationships continue to grow. You're one of them. But it is kind of sad. It's a bittersweet moment when they close. You're like, oh, you're not going to call every day, and you're not going to text me anymore. And sometimes I'll just check in and say, hey, how's it going? And yeah, it's a relationship building process for me. And it's the biggest transaction, no matter if it's a repeat client or someone who's bought many homes, it's still very important. And you learn a lot about them. And part of what I've done in my business is not only get to know them, but I tell them about myself as well. I'm an open book. I will explain anything about myself and the company, obviously. But they do put a lot of faith and hope in you, and I always try to deliver. So.
What you're saying is so important on so many levels. It's making me think the fact that, yes, we build relationships with people, but there are two sides to these things. Our business relationship, our expectations as a client that we want from the business side, but along the way, if you or the real estate professional, or if I'm doing the job right, you start and you respect the business side, you do become friends. And
Absolutely.
There's a certain admiration that appears, thus the relationship, and you're enjoying someone's company.
Right.
Why should it end?
It doesn't need to end.
No, it
Closing does not mean ending.
Closing does not mean ending.
No, I don't want it to be. Yeah.
In fact, I think that's just a great thing. That's one of the nice benefits. And if we're doing our jobs properly, then
it's not the end.
It's not the end. Even like on this radio show, I've talked to so many people, and I've enjoyed it. Everyone comes from a different place, and we all learn so much. I think it's fun.
I love it. Yeah.
Yay. All this stuff. So in the meantime, the mortgage world right now, interest rates, Elizabeth, we're talking about decades in time. The span of time, it's never been this low ever.
Not that I recall.
That's crazy.
I've told people when we're locking in rates currently, what I say to them is January of 2020, we were probably in the upper threes, low fours. March hit of 2020, we dropped, and then it dropped even further over the summer, and it's kind of maintained that level for a while. And the question is, where is it going?
Well, first, before we go, where is it going?
I don't know.
I bet you're hearing people just because of your profession throughout the week. How many times does someone say, hey, Elizabeth, what's the rate? Does that ever happen?
All the time.
Okay. So what's the answer? I guess the answer is it depends.
It absolutely depends. And that's the hard part. Years ago, prior to the adjustment in rates based on whatever, I would say, oh, your rate's this. But then they added all the adjustments, credit score, property type, loan amount, down payment. Is it a primary, secondary home? Those all affect rates.
So say in the last 5 people that you've served, where were the rates at, roughly? What was the lowest one?
2.25.
That's pretty
on
low.
a 15-year fixed.
Super low, huh? Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
No
What was the
points.
highest one?
4.25, January 2020. But in the last 60 days,
Yeah. It has to
maybe
be low.
2.75.
That's just a nice number.
Yeah.
And
They're all in the twos, basically.
We started out saying that the market is in somewhat of a hyper level. The rates, it's not the only reason it's active, but the rates certainly drive that activity in a fantastic way.
Right. One of the things I saw change, not only the interest rates, but in a sector that I didn't have as much business in was second homes.
There you go.
I got a lot of second homes last year. And it took me a minute to figure out, I'm like, why am I getting Galveston all the time or Lake Livingston? And
Tell us about the second homes. Now, you have a second home. I happen to
I
know that. I
do,
see your posts on
yeah.
Facebook. It looks
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's
The pictures with the
beautiful.
snow and the dog running. And
oh, that's the one. Yeah, you saw that
remember
one.
that?
Right.
The only thing you didn't have was
6
a
inches.
sleigh running through it, which would have been
We
nice.
had 6 inches of snow. It was crazy. And we're 2 hours northeast of here.
Beautiful.
Second homes, the guidelines for a second home, 10% down, good credit. Sometimes we can get an exception if needed. Rates are the same as a primary residence. But if a true second home is something you don't rent out. Now, people do rent them out in Galveston or even lakes or whatever. But if you're doing it if your intent is to purchase it as a second home and there's no other homes, we can do that property as a second home.
And as the second home, that means I could go there every couple of weeks, stay a few nights, stay a week, and then come back, but don't rent it out. That's the technical definition.
Well, yeah, when you rent it out, it ends up becoming an investment property. The challenge, the guideline, I believe, states it has to be 30 miles from your primary residence for it to be considered a second home.
Right.
Yeah. So most, Galveston and everything would fall in that line.
All right, let's go back to the types of loans again. You got the second home. What about veterans? A lot of veterans listen to this show.
We have a VA, great VA programs, offers up to 100% financing. We have conventional loans with up to 3% down. Would have to be a strong credit score. FHA loans, 3.5% loan down payment rather. Jumbo builder loans, construction loans. We have a lot of loans.
And as far as someone that might be thinking right now, I might want to buy just a primary home in the next couple months, when should they talk to you or someone in your profession?
I tell people if they're going to buy it in the next 90 days or 3 to 4 months, at least look at your credit to make sure it's okay. Because sometimes people think it is good and it's not as good as they think it is. So then we have time to repair it and then get you in position. If the credit's fine and everything's great, the pre-approval is valid for 90 days. So I would say at least 3 to 4 months out, start looking at the numbers, make sure you're comfortable with the payment. I always suggest to people too, if you have a house that you've seen on HAR, send it to me. I'll give you a little payment structure. You can see what you're looking at. And then I walk them through what's costs involved, the process, when you lock a rate. Because that's the one question I get a lot when they are house hunting. What's your rate? As you asked.
That's right. What's the rate?
I can tell them my rate, and I will tell them my rate. But the unfortunate part is you can't lock a rate until you're under contract. So until that time, the rate's floating, not locked.
Okay, so it's been a long time since I've had a loan. Last two I bought cash. But when I bought the last time with a loan, I got a rate, and as far as I know, it was locked in when I had the contract, like you're saying. But what happens if the rate would have gone lower? Because I know the question at the time, they said, "Oh, well, we'll give you the lower rate."
We have a negotiation process in place because movie market does allow us to do that. I will say the market really has, the bond market or interest rates hasn't fluctuated that much to really consider doing that anymore. But yes.
And of course, as I said in the beginning of the show, where do we go from here? Do we? Well, no one knows. We don't know. But if you were to guess, Elizabeth.
I mean, this is
3 months from now, end of the year.
This is what I've been telling people.
I mean, what when you all have meetings, you're a big company, you have meetings and you say, hey, what's the outlook? What are we going to do? All that, I assume. But
we do.
what happens? Where do we go from here?
COVID got us
to lunch. Let's go to lunch.
Yes, we're going. COVID got us into this. I don't know if COVID will get us out of this. What I mean by this is lower interest rates.
What virus? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. The unforeseen future, I don't know. I've heard that they'll stay low through the end of the year. And if that's the case, that's great. I mean, they weren't bad in January of 2020. They're just much better now, which is driving.
Super. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Well, before we close the segment, what else would you like people to know?
I'm a very dedicated loan officer.
Indeed, you are.
I am.
For decades.
For decades. I love my job. I enjoy working with people. I say problem solving. I don't want them all to be problems. Yeah. Most of them fly. Some of them fly under the radar, but there's times I'm really having to dig it out. And I enjoy that because it's such a fulfilling thing when you close a transaction and somebody else couldn't do it for whatever reason. And a lot of times I get it. If it's a hard loan, it takes a lot of time, but I do enjoy my job.
There you go. We're talking with Elizabeth Rankin Rice, First United Mortgage Group. Elizabeth, how can they reach you?
My cell phone is 713-875-6444, and that is direct. So you can text me, call me. I'm usually available 7 days a week. Email is elizabethrr@firstunitedbank.com, and my website happens to be my name, elizabethrankinrice.com.
Call her at 713-875-6444. Was that your dog running across the field?
Yes, it is.
What's his name? Or
Charlie.
Her name? Beautiful.
He's an Australian Shepherd.
Super awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being on the show. Till next time.
Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's talk to Joey Morley. She is with Meadows Property Group. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me.
So let's tell people, Meadows Property Group sounds like a really nice place. Just that the whole word Meadows just paints a certain picture of comfort, of professionalism, and all those things. Let's tell us about your company.
Yeah. Thank you. We are a brokerage that's located in the Memorial and really focused in the Memorial area, but we do business all over Houston and the surrounding areas. I've done some transactions in the Heights and the Woodlands and all the way down to Pasadena. So I do all over, but I really focus on the Memorial area, and that's where the agents are focused as well.
I'm being so repetitive show after show, but the Memorial area is pretty exciting right now, isn't it?
It's on fire. I mean, it's always busy, but it's taken up to its next level because we have fantastic schools. The schools are really what drive people to our area. That and the energy corridor, our location with proximity to I-10, getting downtown, although that's changing with the pandemic. But the Memorial area is on fire.
In fact, and new restaurants abound as well. Mm-hmm. Some of these things that are happening, I think we're one of the few cities that still are restaurants. While some have not made it, there's still new ones opening up. And when you go to a good one, it's busy. And I go to a restaurant almost 3 times a week, maybe 4.
I have been as well. I have some favorites that I go to. And, I think that I talk to my kids about this as we drive around the city and we see construction, because I'll tell them, look, this shows the confidence in the economy that people are still willing to spend the money and build and open these places. So there is a lot of confidence. I mean, I know we are an energy city, but really there's only about 20% of the workers in the area are employed in energy. So there's a lot of medical community workers, a lot of independent business. We're very business friendly in Houston. So a lot of business owners want to come and open businesses here. So it's done really well. I mean, we're really grateful.
In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that word. That is a very important word, confidence. Mm-hmm. It's the backbone of decision-making, that almost every decision we make.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a home, whether it's do we want to invest in a restaurant, there has to be a certain amount of confidence, always balanced with a certain amount of risk.
That's right. And I think it's really taken everybody by surprise that real estate has done so well last year. We broke so many records. And I think that even in, like, for instance, December, the latest report came out that we were 22% above, this is nationally though, but 22% above last year's record, December of 19, 19 compared to 20. So everything is really pumped up. Everybody is, feeling like, I'll tell you what happened. I talked to my sister about this because we were discussing the market and what's driving people. People were locked in their homes and decided one way or another. They either went, I really love my home, but I want to improve it.
That's me.
Or I am like busting at the seams. I have nowhere for my kids to homeschool. My office, I'm trying to Zoom call. My kids are Zoom calling. We need more space. So it was one way or the other. People were either you couldn't get a contractor to fix up your house, or you were just, heading for the hills and finding a new house. So it really caused a lot of people to re-examine what they were looking for in a home.
So many dynamics are taking place, and many of them now are intensified to levels, as we're saying, we've not seen before. Okay, so the buyer comes to you. I come to you and say, I want to live in the Memorial area. Can I find a house, number one? Number two, what is the entry point price-wise?
So it depends. I mean, Memorial is a big area, but I would say generally speaking, probably about $500,000 to get into the area and get you in a decent home. And the area that I focus on, a home that doesn't need a lot of updating, is probably going to be about $750,000 and up. But what I tell people is be prepared to act quickly. That's key in this market. So I do partner with my sister, Elizabeth Rankin Rice. She's a lender.
She was just on the show.
Yes. We work together a lot. We're like, the dynamic duo, and is how I like to put it. But I get them hooked up with my sister and say, look, talk to my sister. Let's get really on paper, pre-approval, so we know what we're working with, and we don't get into where we're falling in love with a home that's not going to be in your budget. So we do that first, and then I get my clients set up on an automatic search. And the way I set it up is an ASAP search, so that when a home comes up on the market, it actually pulls from the internet every 15 minits. So every 15 minutes, this search engine that I set up
almost
for them.
Like a stock market quotation.
Absolutely.
It's there all the time.
Yes, because you need to be the first one in there. If your home comes on the market at 2 p.m., if you wait till the next morning, yes, absolutely. And that agent might have pre-shown it to agents, in her brokerage already. So it could already have that happens too, where it comes to the market, it's already under contract. They just list it and it goes pending. So that's the way I approach it: is be ready to act quickly, know what you're qualified for, and let's get ready and make the offer right away and be strong in our offer.
It sounds like there might also be an advantage with all timing considered, and that is because you're tight and work with your sister, which is the money element. So you could maybe do certain things in terms of preparation, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, my sister's available to me 24/7. I've got a hotline to her. So if I call her at 5 o'clock, I'm like, hey, I need a pre-approval. Can you get it to me? I mean, within an hour, she can have a pre-approval for me. As long as it really depends on the buyer being forthright and being responsive in what she's asking for. So I always tell them, look, if she says she needs this, give it to her. Because right now. If she needs your W-2, if she needs your pay stub, if she needs your whatever, get it to her so that she can, qualify you as quickly as possible.
It's fascinating, all the details and dynamics that are happening now. You and your sister, are there any other siblings that are not on the show today?
No, it's just the two of us. Just the two of
You should have brought the dogs, too.
Yes, we would have liked that.
I mean, they are super fun. So in the meantime, that is awesome. Asking the question, where do we go from here? What's when your company has meetings, Joey, what are y'all talking about, and what are you expecting or anticipating for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, because the other element to this is that inventory is down. So there's not enough homes for the demand, and that causes prices to go up. So we anticipate, as long as people keep, willing to list their homes, things should continue. We need to find the homes. I mean, I have a cash buyer right now. I can't find him a home for almost $2 million because they're just being snapped up. I mean,
all right, wait a second. Let's rewind this. Okay, so someone has that's the price of the home they want to buy.
Right.
So I'm thinking, maybe others out there are thinking also, that when you're in that range you have more choices and they're sitting on the market longer. No,
I'll tell you, the 750 and up has been the best performing segment of the market this last year, all of last year, which is usually it's like 250 to 500,000 that does the most. That might, but really dollar wise, it's the 750 and up. So And I will say that the majority of the buyers that have been in the market last year were the higher end, tended to be the higher end buyers. So it's very, very surprising, but it's very difficult to find a home even at that price range. Those are being snapped up as well.
Well, like the example I gave at the beginning of the show, this gal has a $950,000 home.
There you go, multiple offers
Already. So
Right.
fascinating. Now, just curious, nothing personal, but is this buyer from Texas or is this a buyer from out of the state?
This is a buyer already in the Memorial area who wants to stay in the Memorial area.
Because they know it and they love it.
There's a lot of that. I've never
heard
seen
about that
more
in
of that than in Memorial, where people are like, I'm leaving this house, but I'm staying in the neighborhood because I want to be in a cul-de-sac or I want to be near my best friend or whatever the case may be. They don't want to leave the area. They want to stay in the schools, but they want a different house.
I love that. Now, speaking of that, what about the people that are coming from out of state? You seeing them?
Yes, we do see them as well because, like I said, Texas is a very business-friendly state. We have a lot of industry in Houston. It's a growing city. You can get a lot for your money here. If you come from California, which we've had a lot of Californians come.
We hear that word. We hear about that state every show a couple times. Yes.
Your $1 million in California gets you a bungalow. But here in Houston, that $1 million buys you a really nice house. So they like that. And of course, we don't have the federal tax on your income. So
State income tax.
Yes. So yeah, state income tax. So there you go.
That's fascinating. Of all the things you could be doing, you could be doing other things. There's no doubt about that. What is it that keeps you in the real estate world?
I love what I do. I love building relationships. It's so exciting to be part of such a big transaction in someone's life. And as my sister mentioned, it is always bittersweet when the transaction finishes because you do miss them. I mean, you have so much communication. And it's so funny. You get to know them. But I do have a weekly newsletter that I send out. I try to keep people informed of not just the market, but home trends and other local events that are happening. So I keep in touch with my clients over time. And a lot of them refer to me, some of their friends and family. So we stay in touch. But it is sad when it ends. I love it. It's relationships.
We're talking with Joey Morley, and she spells her first name J-O-I, Morley.
Yes.
People may want that newsletter, Joey. What should they do?
Yeah, so if you want my newsletter, you can reach out to me.
I mean, I'd like to get it.
I'm going to add you to my list.
Okay.
You can reach me by telephone. My cell is 832-766-5647, and you can also text me at 832-766-5647. I do also have a website. It's www.joimorley.com. Or you can email me, Joey, J-O-I, at joeymorley.com.
And as I've asked the other guests, where do we go from here? Your gut feel, your guesswork, your speculation. What do you think the rest of the year? What's going to happen?
I think it's trending up. I think it's looking really good. At least I think through the fall. We'll see. Typically winter tapers off. This past winter did not taper off. So we'll see at the end of the year. But I'm feeling really good about this spring and summer market.
And other people at your company, what's the word as other realtors talk? This is a question I've not asked and should, but when you're with other real estate professionals, whether they serve the same market area, geographic market area or whatever, what are some of the things that you're saying like, man, I can't believe this? Or, I mean, what are the different asides that you get just talking to your friends?
I think, it's region to region and area to area. It's very consistent. We're seeing an uptick in business and not enough homes. We need more people listing. Yeah. I mean, we need more inventory. So those builders are out there building those homes, but they need to build it a little faster.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I will also say that as far as Houston, when I look at the HAR, for whatever reason, just to scan, just to see what's going on, different price points, we have a very professional representation of real estate in terms of pictures. I don't see that in other markets, in other cities, in other states. I think that's interesting.
That's key. I mean, I only work with professionals, professional photographers, professional stagers, and also what's been really important through the pandemic is doing videos and virtual walkthroughs of homes because some people don't feel comfortable walking through a home in person, so they can do it virtually and almost feel like they've already seen the home before they even arrive at the home. So lots of technology available that I like to work with in my business.
Joey Morley properly. And the phone number again, Joey, is
832-766-5647.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. It's fun.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters would not be possible without our partner Stewart Insurance. With a focus on real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, all dressed up, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Hi, Bill. Nice to see you, sir.
Beautiful tie, John.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's tell people, I'm going to start right away. Where do we go from here with insurance as we think about the future, as we think about right now, this hyper market? It's unbelievable.
Well, where we're going to go is we're going to add people. Stewart Insurance is growing. We had a great year last year, and we anticipate even a better year this year. But in order to help our clients continue to be properly insured, we need some more members of our team. So we're looking for both personal lines insurance advisors and commercial lines insurance advisors.
Wow. And your service has always been stellar at your company. So it is now time to even add another layer to be able to handle the customers you have and the ones that are going to be coming on in 2021.
Absolutely. We've got a great team in place. We just need to add to it so that we can help more and more of our clients, whether they be in Houston, Texas, or around the country, be properly insured.
Whether they have first homes, second homes. We heard Elizabeth talking about the second home. All those things come into play, and there's an insurance for each and every reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're an insurance professional that focuses on the personal lines and you've got some experience, you have your Texas General Lines Agent Property and Casualty license, you can demonstrate some success because we want people that have, proven that they can help their clients and help their clients be properly insured. If you've got some experience with programs like AMS 360 or Easy Links, some of the CRMs, experience working with such companies as Safeco or Travelers, ASI, TWIA, we would love to hear from you.
That's interesting.
And beyond just on the personal line side, we also want to look on the commercial line side. We have an opportunity for insurance advisors there as well.
So it sounds like, how do you know when you have the right amount of people? That's a question for any company, but as far as Stewart Insurance, is that a feel that you know, or how do you determine that?
Well, we've got some great leadership with Tom Carpentier and Will Elizondo, and both have many, many years of experience. So they have a truly good idea about how much revenue per employee we should have, and the type of mix that we need to have between insurance advisors and customer service people. We've just recently hired a new customer service relationship person that's coming on in the next 10 days, and we're really excited about that. But we need to have some more insurance advisors to generate some additional revenue for the company and be able to help assist more and more clients.
With insurance advisors, let's state again what you're looking for insurance. What should the insurance advisor have?
Sure. So we talked about the personal line side a second ago. On the commercial line side, again, we're looking for somebody that's got some experience. We want somebody that's got a proven track record. On the commercial line side, they've hopefully have worked in real estate and have sold errors and omissions, cyber liability, general liability plans, workers' compensation, business owners plans, have their Texas General Lines license, and hopefully have navigated some programs similar to AMS 360, Salesforce, or some CRM program like that. From a Stewart perspective, there's a cultural aspect that we need to have, that we need to fit. So, are they organized? Are they a lifelong learner? Do they have a heart of a teacher or a servant leader? Are they team-oriented? Do they have a high energy level, which is always important for us? Do they work well as part of a team do they have confidence and exude that confidence when they're working with our prospects? Are they willing to be self-starters and continue to learn, and are they good listeners and good communicators?
And people hear this show primarily in Houston. People hear it outside of the Houston area on the internet, and you're serving people outside of the state of Texas. So, as far as the requirement for someone to be on your team, do you have to have different insurance licenses for Texas and Alabama or that?
Well, that's a great question. All of our agents, me included, we all have our Texas General Lines Property and Casualty license. Then, as a company, we have individuals that have licenses in all 50 states. So we're able to work off of their license. So for to be a member of our team, at minimum, we want to have the Texas General License.
So from there, you can go from there.
Yeah, because we've already got the rest of the country covered.
And let's tell the phone number if they want to reach out right now.
Absolutely. If they've got an interest in the job, there are several ways they can take a look at it. They can give us a call at 866-798-2827. Visit us, or they can shoot us an email at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. That's stewartinsurance@stewart.com, or they can look on the Stewart website in the careers section. The personal lines position is posted. The commercial line sales advisor position will be posted the first part of next month.
That sounds awesome. What are some of the other things you want us to know about, John?
Well, we're really excited about the opportunity to continue to help our clients. We're really excited about the opportunity to truly make sure that people are properly insured, that they have that right mix of how much risk they're willing to take on versus how much risk they want to offset onto the insurance company. And we're really excited about the opportunity to add some additional members to our team.
And that's exciting because that's the first time I think we've talked about that on this show.
It is, but it's, we had, like I said, we were very fortunate to have a successful year in 2020. We're expecting an even greater year in 2021, but in order to be able to expand our ability to help more and more clients to make sure that they are properly insured, we're going to need some more members of our team.
And here you go. This is the year.
This is the year.
Build the team even bigger and better. That's going to be awesome. 866-798-2827. What else should we talk about, John? We got a couple minutes left.
Well, you had mentioned, in each show we always try to talk about at least one or two kinds of policies that are out there. Last week we used errors and omissions as an example of what the elements of a policy are. But I do think it's important to refocus or remind folks that they need to take a look at, do they have cyber liability insurance? And if they don't, maybe they ought to. Especially if you've got a firm, whether it be a property management firm or a real estate brokerage firm that's more than just a few associates. It's going to be important. People are now working more and more remotely, so that means more and more individual laptops. That means more and more cell phones are active, which gives the fraudsters more elements and more vehicles to get into your system and to start stealing data and potentially stealing funds. The real estate industry has always been a strong and big target of cyber fraudsters because of the amount of data that we carry, and in some cases, when it's on the broker side or a title agency side, potentially the funds that they carry. So they're always targeting us. So it's important to have that protection.
Yeah, I was thinking that the funds, the amounts of money that are being that's being transferred, that's out there, is enormous. So the prizes are there: information, money, and they're doing it. They're going for it. I mean, just myself, I get, I don't know how many calls, but there's spam calls that we all get. They're saying they're Amazon. They're saying they're American Express. I mean, it's unsettling that they get that far, and that's just on the phone.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, so, the fraudsters in the real estate world really began via email, and they would, try different ways to, whether it be impersonating your CFO and saying, Bill, we need to transfer this information to this email address. Can you take care of that for me? The email address looks like it came from the CFO. You didn't verify, you sent it, and now you shared proprietary information to a fraudster. Or a fraudster sends an email and says, we're closing with XYZ title tomorrow. As you recall, the bank was going to be ABC Bank, but now you need to send the money to 123 Bank. And then suddenly there's a phone call that follows back up and says, "Hi, I work with Bill Napick. Bill asked me to give you a call to make sure you saw that email that we're changing the banks." Okay, that sounds like it's legit. So we change the bank, we send out the funds, and now it's gone to the fraudster.
We have to always have our head on a swivel. We have to pay attention to all these things. I got a call last week saying, I think it was either American Express or Amazon, "Do you approve this $799 for a new iPhone?" I'm like, I just hung up on it. I'm like, what's that about?
Oh yeah, no,
their imagination has no limits. It's fascinating the stuff they come up with. So we have to always be on our guard.
We do. It's a matter of taking the time to be aware of what the email addresses look like and are they accurate. Taking the time to make sure that we understand what all the variables in the agreement are. Taking the time to make sure that when we begin a process with a client, that they understand how we're going to communicate and what we're going to communicate, what we will do by email, what we will not do by email, what we will do by phone, what we will not do by phone. So those are always important. It's important to work with professionals that we have, whether it be Joey or Elizabeth or J Mac or the folks at Stewart Insurance or your business development officers at Stewart Title. It's always important to work with reputable representatives to make sure that you understand what the risks are, you understand what the processes are, and you understand the best way to have a successful transaction.
And to be properly insured is paramount for this year, 2021, and even years beyond. That's
Absolutely.
Where I think we're going. We got to always be properly insured.
Absolutely, because life changes, and as life changes, you need to take a look at your insurance plans to make sure that they meet the needs that you currently have.
And before we close things down, John, what else should we know?
They need to call us at 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827. We're looking for a commercial lines insurance advisor and a personal lines insurance advisor.
You just need to call the number.
866-798-2827.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Napick, together with John Bramlett and the team right here. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, just go to stewart.com/Houston. You can hear any and all past shows right there, stewart.com/Houston. And we invite you to reach out to your realtor. Tell them you'd like to close with Stewart Title. That's right. You can go to stewart.com. Find out your closest location, not just here in Houston, but far beyond, stewart.com. And once again, thank you all for listening. Until next week, we'll see you then.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827, stewartinsurance.com. That's stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Once again, Bill Napick, your host for Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, inviting you to think about us when it's time to close your real estate transaction, whether it's residential or commercial. We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction right here in Houston or anywhere else. Just go to stewart.com to find the closest office near you. Once again, stewart.com. We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction.